Hello, leaders. Welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that provides tips and techniques to help you navigate the leadership challenges you face every day. I'm your host, Paul Grau Jr. from the CLC Team, and we work primarily with military leaders to help them be the absolute best leader they can be. Our primary goal here is to help you lead from your very best self. Because let's face it, everyone deserves a great leader. So let's jump right into today's topic.
So this week, we've been talking all about leadership game changers, or the things that may be really good or really bad for your team. Specifically, we've been talking about what actions you can take as a leader to ensure that your game changers help your team in a positive manner. Today, I want to talk about one of the biggest game changers that I know of, and that is conflict. Now, when most people think about conflict as a game changer, they automatically think about a really bad game changer, right? I mean, lack of productivity, low productivity, fighting, morale loss, all that stuff, retention issues. And to tell you the truth, that's because a large portion of leaders just don't like conflict, and they try to avoid it as much as possible. Man, I've seen leaders work extremely hard to avoid conflict at all cost. I've seen them put in all kinds of time and effort into trying to figure out how to avoid the conflict. And quite frankly, most of the times, if they would have just faced their conflict head on in the beginning, they probably could have resolved it immediately with little effort at all. So you see, conflict can be a negative game changer for a team if it's not managed properly. That's the bottom line. The one thing about conflict is it rarely goes away on its own. Now, sure, it may be able to be swept under the rug for a little while, but you know what? It always seems to show up and show off its ugly face in the worst possible times. Conflict has a way of ruining the best laid out plans. And the sad part is usually the conflict that arises is the conflict that wasn't addressed at an earlier time. So to set you up for success, here are just a few tips to help you make your conflict a game changer in a positive manner. First of all, you have to recognize that conflict exists with everyone involved. Now, I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but bring everyone together who's involved and openly recognize the conflict. Make it a public statement. And give it a name if you need to. But conflict is ugly and it needs to be brought into the public. So everybody admits it, everybody sees it, everybody recognizes it for what it is. Next, tell everyone that you are going to work through it and make it clear of the collateral damage the conflict is having on communication, relationships within the organizations. Maybe it might include productivity issues, customer satisfaction, retention, morale. Tell them how bad it's affecting or impacting their pay. That'll get their attention. And anything else that you can directly tie to the negative conflict. Next, establish ground rules for the people involved in a conflict. This may be as simple as saying, no yelling when we're here discussing this, or no interrupting each other when somebody else is speaking. Maybe you can say that they cannot begin a sentence with anything about somebody else. Maybe they got to begin a sentence with something like, I feel statements. Man, I feel statements goes a long way in handling conflict. Next, focus on the problem, not on the people involved. You see, conflict is a problem. Focus on that problem. Don't attack the people. Determine exactly what the problem is, not who has the problem. Next thing you want to do is you can determine common ground that both sides have and highlight that. By recognizing commonalities, both sides can begin to see the other side as a partner or a friend. You know, no matter how much conflict both sides have, they usually have one common thing. They have common issues that you can bring up to their attention, and they can start seeing themselves as a real person. Finally, focus on the interests and not specific positions. Each side has a specific interest, and a lot of times these interests aren't much difference from both sides. So when you focus on the interests, you can determine where these interests may overlap a little bit, and that's a good thing. If you could do all these things, You are well on your way to turning your negative conflict into a positive learning event, a positive game changer. And that's where you want to be. Conflict gives you opportunity to excel where you weren't excelling before. And that's always a game changer.
Hey, as always, thank you for listening. So we have some big things going on here with our online membership group for leaders. It's actually growing, and we're adding a new group specifically for military leaders. Now, we're still working out all the details and bonuses that will be included. But for now, please help us spread the word. This group will be a place where military leaders can learn new skills, refine older skills, and have deep discussions with like-minded leaders who actually get exactly where other military leaders are coming from. We're going to tap into everyone's expertise, and the group members will help bring out the very best in each other. So keep tuned in, and please be sure to let any military leader that you know about this group, and that will be up and running very, very soon. This is going to be different than any other leadership development group out there. So be ready and, man, get excited. Hey, that's it for today. And until tomorrow, run to your challenges.